Good evening. I call the session the November 2015 meeting of the Media Borough Council, and as soon as Mr. Scott clears the camera view, there we go, we will have a supervisor with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome all of you who are present either in person or at home. We do appreciate your participation. We have a couple of housekeeping matters to take care of. But before we get there, I think the most important thing that most people want to know is whether or not your trash is going to get picked up the day of Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and you will not have your trash picked up either on Thanksgiving Day or on Friday after Thanksgiving. So please don't put it out. Mr. Smith, will we have recycling pickup on either of those 2 days? No. So no recycling, no trash pickup. The next trash pickup after Thanksgiving will be a regularly scheduled pickup at the beginning of the week. All right, so first item is approval of the minutes for our workshop meeting of October 2015. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the workshop meeting minutes of October 2015 as submitted, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. Item number 2 is the council meeting minutes of October 15, 2015. I'll make the motion that we approve them, but not as submitted, with one amendment. On page, I believe it is 5 at the beginning, at the top of page 5, it reads, and this is with regard to 12 West State Street and the application there for the transfer of a liquor license. It currently reads, the new owner is requesting to place on the property. It should say requesting to place a bar on the property. So we just add those 2 words, a bar, assuming that the motion passes. I will move that we approve the council meeting minutes as submitted with that one exception which I mentioned. Do I hear?
I'll make a motion to second the motion with the amendments added.
All right. Is there a second on that?
I will second the motion to the other motion.
All right. Then, do we have any comment or any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the council meeting minutes from October 2015 with the one amendment, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. All right, we'll get to public comment and privilege of the floor. Before we do so, it is my duty to announce that at our last workshop meeting, we held executive session with regard to a personal matter that was in connection with the hiring of a part-time facilities maintenance person that would come up under my agenda, and there was some discussion concerning property matter involving the proposed Wawa at Providence Road and Baltimore Avenue. All right, let's get to public comment privilege of the floor. There is a familiar face to us, Monica Simpson, former member of Media Borough Council, twice Vice President of Media Borough Council, and she can't get enough, so she's back here today with an envelope. So in the spirit of the season of giving,
yes,
please join us.
Spirit of Thanksgiving. It's nice to see you all, and thank you for carrying on the heavy responsibilities that go with sitting in those chairs. However, I'm here today representing Media 5 Mile Race Incorporated as chairman of the board. Myself and the other board members would like to express these sentiments to the Borough Council. On behalf of Media 5 Mile Race, Inc., a local nonprofit company, please accept this contribution of $3,000 to the Media Borough Capital Improvements Fund. We're grateful for the support of council, the Public Safety Committee, and Police Department and Highway Department. But most importantly, we could not be successful without the enthusiasm, the valuable volunteers that give their time, and the support of our residents and businesses. It makes it a really great event here in town. And thank you so much, and we look forward to June 17, 2016.
All right.
Thank you, Monica. And who gets to take the check home with them?
Josh.
Mr. Smith. Or how about
Goes to rec.
Thank you.
Kevin Moore.
Actually, we have another check for rec.
Oh, okay.
That's for the
That's,
capital
oh, okay.
improvement fund.
I knew there was something involving rec, so I'm more.
That's okay.
You want both anyway.
Someone else wants to come to the rec meeting to present that.
I see.
Is that right?
That's
Is that right?
perfectly fine. Pardon?
Thank you all so much, and I do hope that you have a great Thanksgiving.
I need to fix that microphone. Thank you, Monica. Does anyone else wish to address council at this time? Seeing that there are no takers, we will move on to the engineer's report. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you and good evening. Brief engineer's report for October 2015. Road resurfacing. There were 2 patches. The contractor Innovative Construction completed them yesterday, finally. It took a little while, but they did promise that they would have them done before they left this area, and they're basically gone from the area to other places. Reviewed for a stop sign at 4th and Orange. Attended a few meetings. Did a site inspection with the Borough Building Inspector. Subdivision land development. We did a land development review for West End Flats, which is the apartments. We also did and received a PennDOT HOP submission, which we have reviewed, and we've been in communication with McMahon, the traffic engineers for the developer, and with the media real estate at Providence and Baltimore activity for the PennDOT HOP submission.
Anything else on your laundry list?
One more, it's Ubin Park. We finalized all that out to get the contractor to come back in and replace landscaping that had died or needed to be replaced. Cool. That's it.
Are there any questions for our engineer? Hearing none, we'll move on to our solicitor, Mr. Scott.
Thank you. I don't have anything for this portion.
And we'll move on to the mayor and his report.
Thank you. During the month of October, there were 693 complaints. Last week, we had a report of someone rummaging through an unlocked vehicle parked in a driveway at Mulberry Lane. Surrounding jurisdictions have experienced the same overnight reports, so that's just one to look out. Chief always reminds us to lock all your doors. And the house, cars, sheds, garages. And just a reminder to everybody, when you go home, don't misplace your keys. I learned a lesson tonight when I walked in at 1 minute after 8, and I found my keys. It was the first comment I made to Brian. I couldn't find my keys tonight, so I guess it was the rain, and I came in and had too many clothes.
I guess you're leaving the lights on here tonight, Mr. Smith. We've got a guest.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's see, the Veterans Day Parade this year, I'm going to comment, and then I'm going to ask Bob Diamond to comment, because he'll remember more of it than I would. And it was one of our largest audience, one of our largest parades. Bob and I had the privilege of basically coordinating 2 parades that week, one here and one in Philadelphia. And another comment I want to make is there's an emphasis among veterans. You may have noticed that we had a 100-year-old Grand Marshal. We celebrated his birthday last year when he was 99 and invited him back this year to be the Grand Marshal. So there's an emphasis that we all have on our sons, our daughters, our grandchildren, and their understanding the service of the World War II veterans and so forth, Korean War veterans. So I know I've talked about the proposed Veterans Memorial at the Armory. I just want everyone to know that it has the full support of all the veterans groups, American Legion, etc., the museum, and we're hoping that it is up and ready to go in 2016. So just wanted to say something about that. And Bob?
You want me to do that now?
Well, yeah.
Why don't you come up to the microphone, Bob?
I need help with my report.
Okay, yeah.
Bob Diamond, 134 East 3rd Street. Yeah, number one, the parade meeting was great, I thought. And the 100-year-old, as I said that day, he had 4 daughters and all their names began with B. He found out I was Bobby and he adopted me, and I said, thanks, Dad. So it was a great day that way. But the one thing I do want to mention, and the mayor doesn't give himself enough credit, he almost single-handedly put the Philadelphia First Veterans Parade together. And I know that because I went to all the meetings for the last 3 months in Philadelphia. We went every week. And I gotta say, he did a hell of a job. There were 200 units in that parade. Turned out really, really well. We met with Channel 6 the week before, put the whole thing together for the TV, and they did a hell of a job, I thought, with the paratroopers, jumping, the 400 motorcycles taking off, and the horses and everything else that was there. So, and the weather, and for both days, really turned out nice. The weather down in Philly was perfect, so we couldn't have a better day. And I want to thank the mayor for all his work, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully we can move that Veterans Memorial from Spazos to in front of the Veterans Museum. So I hope that works out. Thank you. Any questions? Nobody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Closing remarks. Before I say, call 911. Paul, we were talking earlier, were you talking about the parking garage for after Thanksgiving, what the rules are for that, or?
The annual gift that the Borough Council gives to
Yeah,
all.
that's what yeah. The way that will be phrased is, for shoppers, diners, and those attending events, there is free parking. Read into that what you may. But that's what will be announced
Okay.
at the Friday night.
Right now.
Hmm?
We have to do it tonight also.
All right.
We'll be doing free parking on our parking garage. for the
Shoppers,
separate.
diners, and those attending activities
Exactly.
is the way it would be phrased. And also, we're in the last phase, Jeff, of the parking garage. We're waiting for the report from Mr. Muir. Am I pronouncing his name correctly? Close enough.
Close enough.
Can you tell everybody when the free parking?
Yes, it begins on Friday, October 27th at the November.
2015
I
Black
had
Friday.
too many parades in the last couple of weeks. Black Friday, it begins and goes through Christmas to the New Year, through New Year's. Through New Year's, I'll put it this one. And it's free parking for everybody that comes and shops, dines, and attends events. Yeah,
Very
did I get that right?
I think you nailed it.
Nailed it.
Okay,
Got it.
that's
It's
it.
one thing off my agenda.
Where?
The
Just,
parking garage.
oh, just, you can say that.
I know, that's right, now.
The Olive Street parking garage. Not the one we're going to build, but that'd be kind of hard to park there right
The
now.
old one, not the new one. Which is nice.
And please call 911 with any emergency or any problem that you see that you may or may not be sure is an emergency.
Are there any questions for the mayor? I'll only reiterate a thank you to the mayor and Bob Diamond for all their work on the veterans parades.
Yes.
It's amazing how much work was done in order to get those things in such excellent shape that they were in. So thank you very much. We'll move on then to council committee reports. First up, Councilman Boyer, Recreation and Board of Health.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one really important announcement for the Rec Board, and that is the second annual Winter Wonderland, Sunday, November 29th, from 12 noon until 2. That's the same day as the Santa Parade that will come up later. Santa will be there. There'll be cookies, hot chocolate. Children will each receive a small gift, and they may take pictures with Santa for free. So it's a great event, like some of the malls, I guess, were expensive. But here in Media, it's free, and so come on out, November 29th, from 12 until 2 in the community center. Again, that's the same day as the Santa Parade. I would also like to start a monthly tradition, like my colleagues do, making announcements about 911. Remind everyone that the Rec Board offers monthly events. I looked at the calendar today, and they have coming up throughout the month of November, laughter yoga, Zumba Gold, gentle yoga, regular yoga, lots of yogas, and cardio tap. So they don't just put on events for kids, they put on events for pretty much all the members of the borough, and they're very hardworking and they're very industrious. So please check out the borough website, look at the link for rec, and find out all the events that are coming up. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Boyer? So we have free Santa.
We have free Santa, unlike the really expensive Santa.
Excellent. All right, we'll then move on to Historic Archives Review Board. Media Business Authority and Historic. Unfortunately, Councilwoman Lisa Johnson cannot be here tonight. Kevin, mind taking a crack at Lisa's motion?
Sure. I make a motion that we appoint Christopher Swartz to the Media Business Authority for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2017.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those who favor appointing Christopher Swartz to the MBA for a 3-year term expiring the last day of December 2017, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. Thank you. We'll then move on to Properties, Public Works, Public Safety, and Fire. Councilman Robinson.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. And as I do every month, I'll start out with asking anybody who would be interested in serving in the media fire company to please contact the fire company as either a firefighter and or someone in their administrative side. And with that, I will provide the chief of the fire department's report for October. We had 13 runs for media, 8 mutual aid, 8 rapid intervention mutual aid. I'm not really sure what that is, but I will find out. Also, that where the fire company is in the process of conducting their second annual their second fundraiser for the year. Everyone in the borough and received a mailer. There is still time to move ahead with the fundraiser. It goes until next Wednesday, the 25th. Also, the chief asked me to let everyone know that the fire department, in conjunction with Iron Hill Brewery, will be holding a fundraiser for the Burn Foundation on Tuesday night, December 1st. Special beer was brewed for the event, and a portion of the proceeds will go, and food will be donated to the Burn Foundation. And last but not least, as many of you are aware, that the fire company has provided funds from the borough, and originally they were looking at purchasing 1 fire apparatus / truck. But as thrifty as our fire department is, they were able to go out and get a outstanding used Pierce pumper from a neighboring community, and that apparatus will be up and running for the borough starting next Tuesday evening. With that, they were able to upgrade 2 other pieces of apparatus. To us, it's a new piece of equipment, but it's actually a 2003. In the world of fire trucks, it is still a relatively new apparatus. So I want to congratulate the department for pinching their pennies and making sure they made their dollars last and able to get that truck up and running. With regards to agenda items, I make a motion to award to FXB, which is a company that will be assisting the borough with design and engineering needs for an emergency backup generator, as well as our boiler units. It kind of goes past what we normally would be able to take, so we decided to bring on an engineering firm to assist. So I make a motion that we award FXB for the replacement of the emergency backup generator and boiler units for the Borough Hall complex.
There is a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of awarding the contract to replace emergency backup generator and boiler units for Borough Hall to FXB, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Next on the agenda is truly ratifying a motion that was made at a prior meeting. This was to ratify a mass gathering permit application for the Delaware County Democratic Committee political rally, which was held on October 31st, Halloween. The event ran from 1:30 to approximately 5 o'clock. So is there a motion to ratify the motion that was approved at a prior meeting?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of ratifying the mass gathering permit application, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Next, another mass gathering permit. It is a mass gathering permit for New Year's Eve community celebration and ball drop, which will be held on December 31st, starting at 10 o'clock. Event stop time is 1 a.m. and breakdown will be 1:30. It will be at the corner of State and Jackson Street, as it has for 15 years now. The only caveat here is that this is a community event, so traditionally Borough Council has waived the mass gathering fee, which I would agree to, but it does not take away from the cost of the event for cleanup. So that's in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the mass gathering permit with the qualifications as mentioned by Vice President Robinson for the annual New Year's ball drop, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Next on my agenda, it references ratifying signing of a location release form. This was also approved at a prior meeting. This is in conjunction with working with Comcast and a Comcast show called Seeking Solutions with Suzanne. And it goes right back to Councilman Boyer's discussion tonight with regards to they were filming laughter and yoga, or laughing and yoga?
Laughter yoga.
Laughter yoga. One of those things. Jokes and yoga. Didn't know they went together. But it was a release form that needed to be signed prior to tonight's meeting. So I make a motion that we ratify the release form for Seeking Solutions with Susan with regards
Suzanne.
to... What?
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Suzanne, not Susan.
Excuse me.
Well, that's important.
No, it is.
All right, the motion's made. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of ratifying the signing of a location release form with regard to Seeking Solutions with Suzanne. Excellent. Please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Last on the agenda this evening is the adoption of a compensation sidebar agreement with our Fraternal Order of Police. It came to Borough Council's attention earlier this year with regards to comp time that was not being properly registered. With that, we have sat down with members of our police department and members of the Fraternal Order of Police over the course of the last 6 months, 5 or 6 meetings, to define, clarify, and create a sidebar agreement. The sidebar agreement has been agreed to theoretically by the FOP and the Borough Council, and so this evening I'd like us to enter into a formal adoption of the sidebar agreement with regards to comp time and the meeting police department.
The motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
There is. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting a comp time side agreement with the FOP, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Robinson?
Well, I'd like to clarify one thing that Sarah brought up, and that is that Sarah and I participated in yoga laughter. Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still everybody.
All right.
I stand corrected.
We'll get there in the end.
Never mind.
Any other questions for Councilman Robinson? Hearing none, we move on to Committee Development, Personnel, and Media Arts Council. That is my portion of the agenda. I have a few items for legislative action. The first two are related procedurally because they're motions to authorize our solicitor to put pen and paper. In other words, we're asking him to draft something for us to review and then make revisions on or make decisions on later. The first motion is to authorize our solicitor to draft amendments to our current cell tower ordinance. I think that cell tower ordinance goes back to 1998 or thereabouts, and it has been modified since that time. We've recently been approached by Verizon, and they were looking to install different types of antenna for their users that would amplify their ability to provide service in rural media. And that did not happen because they did not get a zoning variance that they needed. However, it did strike me at least as appropriate to look at our ordinance to see whether or not it needs some brushing up to bring it up to the present day. So I'm going to move that we authorize our solicitor to draft amendments to our existing cell tower ordinance so that we can potentially modernize our ordinance in that regard.
Motion is made. Is there a second to the motion? Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of authorizing our solicitor to draft amendments to our cell tower ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Second item is asking our solicitor to put pen to paper with regard to our zoning ordinance, and more specifically, this is for the permitted uses in school zone areas. Again, this is a way of getting a ball rolling, and we might decide later on that this is not well taken, but it starts the conversation. So I will move that we authorize the solicitor to draft a zoning ordinance amendment, or draft zoning ordinance amendments with regard to permitted uses around school areas.
Motion is made. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion with regards to the motion? All those in favor of authorizing our solicitor to draft zoning ordinance amendments for uses around schools, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
I expect that over the next couple of months at our workshop meeting, we'll be discussing these items more in detail, so if anyone has particular interest, please take a look at our agenda for the workshop meeting of December and the agenda for the workshop meeting of January, and that should tell the tale as to whether or not we'll be discussing those items at those times. Item number 3 is a motion to authorize submission of a grant application under the Transportation Alternatives Program. This is a motion that gives the green light for our grants writer to explore applying for certain grants, and in this case, we're looking for her to explore grants with regard to stormwater management issues throughout the borough. So I'll move that we authorize submission of a grant application under the Transportation Alternatives Program with regard to stormwater management issues.
Motion is made. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of authorizing submission of the grant application under TAP, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Item number 4 is ratifying an offer that has already been made and has been accepted. As an offer of employment for a part-time facilities maintenance position. Last month, for those with a long memory, you remember that we accepted the resignation of Steve Latch, who was a longtime employee of the borough. He was the fellow who locked up the facility at night, made sure that everything was safe and sound before lights went out. Since he has resigned, we do need someone to take that position. We advertised that position, and various candidates were interviewed. The candidate, and one was selected for purposes of offering employment, that is Mike Green, and he is accepted. So I will move that we ratify the offer of employment that has already been made to Mike Green in connection with the part-time facilities maintenance position.
Second.
Motion is made. Seconded. All those, is there any discussion with regards to the ratification? All those in favor of ratifying the offer of employment of part-time facilities maintenance position, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Last item is an announcement. Media Arts Council. On Thursday, December 10, there will be a green wreath making workshop. So this is at the Mac Gallery, which is at 609 West State Street, next to the Sterling Pig. Beverly Roberts of Scott Arboretum will lead a workshop, and she will demonstrate how to make a holiday wreath out of greenery. And everyone who participates will come away with a green wreath. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly.
But everyone will have a wonderful time, I'm sure.
Everyone will take home a wreath.
Everyone will take home a wreath. Maybe not their own.
What date did you say?
It's Thursday, December 10th.
At what time?
It is at, oh my goodness, it's in the evening, so I think it's at 7 o'clock. But take a look at the MAC website, theartscouncil.org website, and all the information will be there. There's a calendar there, and you can get all those particulars there. All right, that concludes my portion of the agenda. Unless there are any questions for me, we will move on to Finance, Technology, Library, and the Environmental Advisory Council. There being no takers?
Thank you.
Councilman Davidson, take it away.
Thank you. First on my agenda is payment of bills for the month of October. That was last month, last I checked. And so Finance Committee recommends payment of all bills for the month of October in the following amounts. From the General Fund, $246,105.25. From the Recreation Fund, $2,467.12. No funds from Liquid Fuels, and from the Capital Fund, $619,832.99 for a grand total of $868,405.36. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second?
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Just a quick question. Ken, the amount that's coming from capital, can you explain what that is going for?
That was for the library.
Excellent.
And for those who have not seen it, the library has put in steel in the last week. It's pretty amazing how quickly it's coming together. So anyway, the form of motion.
All right. There was no call for discussion, so I will call the question. All those in favor of payment of the borough's bills for the month of October from the general, recreation, and capital funds, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Thank you. Next on my agenda is the approval of the preliminary 2016 general, capital, liquid fuels, and recreation budgets. We'll give you the highlights of the budgets. We met for, about 8 hours, meeting with lots of various stakeholders within the borough community, as well as some nonprofits who are interested in getting some donations. And in the end, we put together our annual budget, which is approximately $10 million per year, combining all the budgets together. The quick summary is basic salary increases for the police, public works, and public information officers. We are anticipating a couple retirements next year, which we're also budgeting for. We're planning on replacing a full-time police officer next year who will be retiring. We are adding a seasonal employee, who I believe we just approved, for a full-time position, to a regular part-time position, pardon me. Just general increases in medical costs, about 5%, or 5 to 10%. We have, the past years in our technology committee, come up with an IT budget that will be combined into a single section of our budget, which will handle all IT needs of all different departments, which I think is an improvement and helps us to consolidate some of those costs. Additionally, we are adding some additional donations. $16,000 will be donating to local recreational sports teams through the Recreation Fund. We are adding a part-time gardener per the Shade Tree Commission's request. We are increasing of $10,000 increase to the MBA, $6,500 to the library in the form of donations, and a new donation to the farmers market in 2016 for $1,000. So that said, the budget has been published online for anyone within the borough to review, and you're welcome to come to our finance meetings, which are the Tuesday before the second Thursday of each month at 4:30 here in the Borough Complex. And certainly we welcome you to attend those meetings and give us your feedback. So with that, I ask council to please approve the adoption of the preliminary 2016 general, capital, liquid fuels, and recreation budgets.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Are there any questions? I do have one point of clarification. Is there any increase in borough taxes contemplated by this preliminary budget?
No.
All right. We can take no for an answer when it comes to that. All right. Any other questions or calls for discussion on the motion?
I'd like just to encourage that council should take a look at the donations. I would encourage us to take the line item donations out of the budget and having total line item just for the total donations, and to allow council to take a look at the donations and how we might be able to better serve other and more nonprofits within the community.
All right. I'll note that this is a preliminary budget. We do not adopt the budget until next month. And then since there was an election this month. It seems so long ago. There was an election this month. There is another opportunity in January to revisit the budget. Are there any other questions or any other points of discussion on the preliminary budget? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting the preliminary 2016 general, capital, liquid fuels, and recreation budgets as outlined by Councilman Davidson, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, we have a request from eCollect, who is one of our tax collectors, immediate for, was it BPT and Merck, is that right, John?
Yes.
Yes.
And essentially what they're asking us to do in this addendum is instead of them writing us a check for of the taxes they collect and then us paying them their fees back in another check to them, that they are requesting that instead of us writing 2 checks, they write us 1 check, they deposit them on their account and subtract their fees directly from the funds they give to us. I think this has been reviewed by Finance, I'm sure by Bob Scott, and there's no issues with this. So I'd ask council to please adopt the addendum to the collective agreement in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of authorizing the addendum to the e-collect agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Thank you. As I'm obliged to do every month, I would like to encourage all residents to download the app called Public Stuff from the Google Play or Apple App Store. It's an application you can download. It allows you to walk around town. It keeps your location. You can put your information in there and submit any sort of issues you find around town regarding sidewalk issues, tree issues, anything you find that you think is important to the borough. So again, it's called Public Stuff, one word, PUBLICSTUFF. So I encourage residents to take a look at that and review it. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Davidson? Hearing none, we'll move on to Fair Trade, Farmers Market, and Shade Tree. Councilwoman Amy Johnson.
Thank you. Today was the last market of the season, farmer's market. The committee would like to thank everyone and anyone who came out to shop this season. They have had a rainy yet festive day with free apple cider and cookies, and Neil's sharpening service was there to sharpen everyone's carving knives for Thanksgiving. Just one announcement for Media Fair Trade. They will have a table at the Transition Town Media's 4th annual Green Sunday, which will be held December 13th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Community Center. And that's all I have. That concludes my report. Short one.
Are there any questions for Councilwoman Amy Johnson? Hearing none, certainly, although last, certainly not least, we have Councilwoman Sarah Dixon, Public Relations and Historical Archives.
Yes, hello. Okay, a couple of things. The historic archives were sure that nobody would be able to find them, and it turns out people have. They've had 3 requests for research in the last month or so people know where to find them and how to. Public relations, again, the mayor is doing it for me. I tell you, the very fact that he was part of a 5-person group that put together Philadelphia's first Veterans Parade. Can you believe first Veterans Parade? And it was quite a parade. And so for that, we are very proud. And our parade here in media, he and Bob have made it and Paul have made it a big, big, big success every year. But I went to him and said about seeking solutions with Suzanne. Suzanne Roberts is the mother of Brian Roberts, which is, we all know, Comcast. And there's a program that's been running for several years now. It's pretty much on QVC kind of thing. It's usually filmed at QVC. Seeking Solutions with Suzanne focuses to seniors primarily. And the American Heart Association has said that laughter yoga is extremely healthy with all the research that's going on for your heart. So, Suzanne Roberts was here in our community center with a whole bunch of film people, and I called the mayor and said, "Mayor, you've got to get here. I want you to be front and center." And he says, "I don't know, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Please, you got 10 minutes. And he made it in 10 minutes. He's sitting next to Suzanne Roberts, who has had a medical situation that makes her a little stiff. But the very fact that this will show a few times, and every time it does, there's the person, Media Borough, right there. The mayor is tossing good vibes out about media. So I thank you again, Mayor, because you're always doing it.
They actually film that?
What?
They actually filmed that?
Yeah, they did.
No.
They filmed it, and then we'll be, I talked to Alexa to find out exactly when the first showing, and I will know when the first showing, but, the chief came over and we introduced him to some people, and one of the police person, what's his name? But we got a lot of introductions in, and the mayor actually did the laughter yoga, which is really good.
That I want to see.
And that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilman Dixon? Councilwoman Dixon, I apologize. Hearing none. We have our second installment of public comment and privilege of the floor. But before we do that, I think that it's important that we make sure that everyone knows
We forgot some very
a week
important,
from tomorrow night, something important is going to happen.
we definitely forgot some very important things. I guess it was because our liaison to the Business Authority was absent tonight, but next Friday evening, Santa's arrival, as he has for years and years and years. He always comes to media first. It will be Friday the 27th, starting at 5 o'clock. It will be held at the Veterans Square and Front Street in front of the Delaware County Courthouse. That starts a long weekend of events. Saturday, for all of us who live in this great small town in which we always make sure that we go and take care of and visit our small businesses, is Small Business Saturday, which is the 28th. And then on Sunday, the 29th, we will be having our second annual Santa's Parade, and so I do not mess this up. It is 3 o'clock to 3:45 is registration for the Fun and Run Walk, and that will be at Veterans Square. From 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, there will be a, quote, block party at Veterans Square. At 3:45, there will be a costume contest with prizes at Veterans Square. At 4 o'clock will be the start of the Fun Run and Walk. It begins at Front Street, in front of the courthouse, and goes down Front Street and then back up State Street. And then at 5 o'clock will be the start of the Santa's Parade. Some of the events are mummers, a live reindeer, numerous bands, and of course at the end will be Santa will be coming again on Sunday.
And Mrs. Claus.
And Mrs. Claus. Can't forget Mrs. Claus. And after the parade, if one wants to, they can go meet Santa Claus at the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union on West State Street. So media will have a packed weekend next weekend. We are so popular that we will have Santa Claus not once, not twice, but 3 times in the course of the weekend. So everyone please come out. It's the start of the holiday season. The most important thing is remember your retailers in Media Borough. Thank you and have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, so now that we've had that last announcement, we have public comment and privilege of the floor, and I do believe that Sunday Santa has come to the microphone.
No, just Bob Diane. Anyway, I want to go back to the Philadelphia Parade very quickly because Sarah had mentioned about the committee. That committee happened to be 34 to 40 people every meeting that we had for 3 months, every week. And Congressman Bob Brady wanted to make sure that everyone there knew that Mayor Bob McMahon was in charge of the whole thing, putting the parade together. Yes, and that's over the mayor of Philadelphia, over the Homeland Security and everybody else. He was the top brass. Anyway, we had our parade in media also, which turned out very nice. Bob McMahon and I kind of put it together, and that's the easy part. But I just want to mention some people that don't get recognition. That certainly is Congressman, that's next, but Councilman Paul Robinson, Larry Bach, Jim Jeffrey,
Yes.
who have all the fun of down on State Street, telling everybody to get in line, and everybody wants to be first and all that good stuff. So they take care of all of that while we just sit up on the stage and make jokes. So I just wanted to thank them, along with Adrian Irving and Barb Darkow for the intermediate union. So that's all I have. Thank you. And happy
Great
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Bob. All right, unless there's anybody else who wishes to address council at this time,
Motion to adjourn.
we wish all of you a happy and safe Thanksgiving and a wonderful start to the holiday season.
No, but Thanksgiving is my birthday.
And Thanksgiving, happy Sarah Dixon's birthday. 1 in 7 shot, right? A 1 in 7 shot, right? That Thanksgiving lands on your birthday, like my eldest
Hey,
daughter.
I'm wondering what you have to be thankful for.
Your birthday.
There we go. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Good night, folks.